I'm Josh and I'm a web designer. I've been web designing for a couple of years now, and my favorite thing about web design is making little animations like this just to make a website a little bit more engaging. And if you like that type of thing, feel free to throw a like, a sub. Let's get into the video. So today I want to show you why it is that 1120 pixels and that kind of design range, like you can see on this website here, and my newer sites going wider than that to even up to the 1440s. Before, designing in that lower pixel range was pretty much a necessity, but nowadays things have moved on and evolved as people have got larger screens. So you'll see something like this still looks good, and it's got a lot of white space. Now, why not use more? We might as well, while screen sizes is getting bigger for both computer screens and for laptop screens as well, right? With this design here, I'm going to show you it two ways, in 1140 and then 1440, and you'll see the difference. I've added to the width of the parent container here 1140 pixels. I'm going to publish that. And okay, so you can see it's quite confined to the center. Now, the animation that I've set up still works perfectly well, but you'll see the picture here is more crammed in and you can see less detail, right? So let's go ahead and change this back to what it was, so 1440. I'm going to publish that, and you'll still see that the smaller, more compressed version for smaller screens works just fine. Now this works because if you go to the advanced tab here, you can actually include a padding percent on the left and right, which means when it closes down to a smaller screen like this, you're not going to have the sides of the content all awkward and making it look really cramped. So here's how it looks at 1440. You'll see the difference here. Now already you can see that picture has got much bigger. Animation still works great on that, and you can clearly see the content now, and you still have the white space. I'm going to show you why more people have started doing it this way. Not just artists, but brands and websites that get thousands of visitors per day, and why it worked for them. Now I really want to show you this and why I personally have switched to designing in a more wide screen look. So if I'm scrolling down here, you'll notice I've got a scroll trigger animation here. Now this fills around that 1430 mark right there, so just under that 1440. Now I'm going to show you how this looks if I use this same animation but in a smaller pixel amount. This is how it looks in 1140. Now you're already going to see the difference there, right? So the content is really packed in and cramped to the center, especially when we're looking at detailed images like this for a portfolio website. The full extent of the image too, right? You don't want to take something that someone's photographed high resolution and then bring it down and really scale it and cramp it into a website. Now obviously you could change up the design here. I could stack the images differently, so there's one on top, but the design and the scroll trigger effect I wanted to go for was they pop in sequence. So in 1140 like this, it's a lot more cramped. You get a lot of white space, but it comes at the cost of not being able to see the content as well. So again, just really quick, switching it back, you'll see that it fills out the space really nicely, and you can get a much more detailed look at those pictures. My advice here would be to play around with something between 1440 and 1600 to find exactly what you like to design with. So don't just take my word for it. I'm going to show you some other sites now that do use this wider format. So you'll see here on the GF Smith website here, they've got 1365 here, and I'll show you how this looks. That's great. See, with this one, the background is filling the whole space as it moves, right? That's great. And they're using full width for other animations that they've got, but the general content sits within that 1365 that they do have here. Again, I think works really well for these sort of scroll trigger animations that they've got going on for the website. Again, on this website here, it's even wider, so it's about 1500, and with this I think it works perfectly because they've got, again, scroll trigger animations. They've got this central logo here with content either sides that scroll up past it throughout the site, and the space really works for that. Even a big brand site like Apple use this type of wide design, as you can see here, between around 1620, and that looks great, right? From our perspective here, It's quite minimalistic, which suits Apple, right? There's a lot of white and grey, and I think that works perfect. That works to their benefit in this widescreen because there's less visual noise going on to get in the way. As well, it gives you the opportunity to hide things off to the side and have them appear like that either side, outside of that normal range. And if you can design that way, I'd say go for it now. So why are people doing this? Well, it gives a more premium look to the website, and this is because brands that put a lot of effort and artistic design into their sites have been going this way for a while now. So people associate these widescreen designs with those brands, so that helps. And on top of that, I like to think of it as you've got all this space left here, and they're using bigger screens. Might as well make use of it, because as you can see here, you can make text quite big with this. Now if that's squished up, you're going to have to make that font smaller, or it's going to take up more space on that screen. But like this, you get more space on the top and bottom while keeping that text nice and big. So a big question is, why not go further than 1620, which seems to be the upper level of where people are going with these type of designs? Well, I'd say because the average viewing size of that desktop or laptop screen isn't going to be any bigger than that. Now if you are designing for that, that's again, you're catering to just a small percent of people, and maybe that's what your design needs. But for most screens, I like going at 1440 because it's a great medium between. Another thing that you might also think is that it's not going to look great on mobile. Now, with most of these designs, they actually wrap really well. Don't have to worry too much. With minimal effort, this is pretty much how the mobile version goes. It's the same sort of scroll effect, and it works on mobile just because it's wrapped. I wouldn't worry too much about these type of designs if you are heavy onto the mobile side, because it will still be easy enough for you to get a hold of. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments, because there's no right way to design. As you can see here, even the Stripe website itself is pretty much centered within that lower pixel range right there. We have 1078 pixels, and obviously opposite to that you have something like Apple who's doing 1620 pixels. So there's no right or wrong way to really design, especially as everything's evolving now. So I want to thank you guys for watching. It means a lot that you've watched this video, and if you've liked it, be sure to give it a like and consider subscribing too if you do want to see more of these types of videos. I want to angle this more to making these type of effects here, like my contact page. I just had to put something kind of fun on there. You can play keepy uppies with the balls on here as well. Just stupid stuff like that. That kind of works and engages people. But yeah, as I say, thanks for watching, and please leave me a comment with what you'd like to see personally. And again, cheers, and I'll see you in the next one.